Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to talk about ED GEIN. ED GEIN, in full Edward Theodore GEIN, also called the Butcher of Plainfield. He was born on August 27, 1906, in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and died July 26, 1984 in Madison, Wisconsin. ED GEIN was an American serial killer whose gruesome crimes gained worldwide notoriety and inspired numerous books and horror films, like the movie The Silence of the Lambs. Augusta, Ed's controlling and pious mother, had a big influence on him as he grew up. She instilled in Ed and Henry, the brother, that the notions that the world was filled with evil, that women were vessels of sin, that drinking was wicked, and that immortality was a gift from the devil. Augusta urged that they move from La Crosse, which she considered to be a sinkhole of filth, to Plainfield because she was desperate to shield her family from the evil that she believed lurked around every turn. Even there, Augusta insisted that the family relocate outside of town because she thought that keeping her two young kids in the city would corrupt them. Because of this, ED GEIN never left his family's remote farmhouse other than to go to school. He was recalled by his classmates as being socially uncomfortable and prone to bizarre, unexplainable bouts of laughter, but he was unable to forge any deep relationships with them. Furthermore, Ed was a simple target for bullies due to his lazy eye and speech handicap. In 1944, Ed and Henry decided to burn part of the vegetation out of their fields. One of the brothers would survive the night, though. Their fire quickly became out of control as they were working. And Ed informed the firefighters that Henry had disappeared when they arrived to put out the fire. Soon after, his asphyxiated body was discovered face down in the swamp. It appeared to be a horrible accident at the time. However, Henry's passing, whether intentional or not, left ED GEIN and Augusta alone in the farmhouse. They remained there alone for over a year, up to Augusta's passing in 1945. ED GEIN turned the house into a sort of shrine to Augusta's memory when she passed away. He moved into a small bedroom off the kitchen and boarded up the room she had used, keeping them spotless. Living alone and in a remote area, he started to become obsessed. Ed spent his days studying human anatomy, learning about Nazi medical experiments, watching porn, though he never tried to date any real women, and reading horror books. He also started to explore his twisted desires, although no one noticed for a very long time. In fact, no one gave the GEIN farm outside of town much thought for a whole 10 years. Everything changed in November 1957 when Bernice Worden, the proprietor of a nearby hardware store, mysteriously disappeared and left only bloodstains in her wake. The last place Worden, a 58-year-old widow, had been seen was at her shop. Her most recent client, ED GEIN, who had entered the store to purchase a gallon of antifreeze, was the only one. When police went to Ed's property to investigate, they discovered themselves in the middle of a nightmare that was still happening. Her body was located. She had been shot to death and then beheaded. He had meticulously looted cemeteries and gathered human parts, which he used to construct household items, clothing, and masks, according to later home inspections. On the premises, the head of Mary Hogan, a tavern owner who vanished in 1954, was also found. Skulls, human organs, and macabre furniture such as chairs covered in human skin and lampshades constructed of human faces were discovered by the police. GEIN wanted to build a skin suit to essentially bring back his deceased mother, with whom he had been fascinated for years, as he later told authorities. In addition to chairs covered in human skin, the authorities discovered a wastebasket made of flesh, leggings made from human skin, masks made from faces, a belt made from nipples, a pair of lips being used as a window shade drawstring, a corset fashioned from a woman's torso, and a lampshade made from a human face. Police also discovered a number of other dismembered body parts, such as fingernails, 4 noses, and the genitalia of 9 different women, in addition to the skin products. ED GEIN readily acknowledged that he had gathered the majority of the remains from 3 nearby cemeteries, which he had begun to frequent 2 years after Augusta's passing. He admitted to going to the cemeteries in a trance in search of remains that he believed to be his mother. Ed added a justification. He admitted to wanting to build a woman's suit in order to become his mother and slither into her flesh. GEIN pled not guilty due to insanity while admitting to killing the 2 ladies, both of whom were said to resemble GEIN's mother. He was placed in several psychiatric facilities after being declared unfit for trial in late 1957. However, GEIN was tried in 1968 after it was found that he could take part in his own defense. Although he was found guilty of killing Worden, prosecutors only prosecuted one murder, presumably for budgetary reasons. He was later determined to have been mad at the time of the crime. He went back to the mental institution, where he stayed up until his demise in 1984. GEIN does not fit the standard criteria of a serial murderer because there have been less than 3 attributed killings. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre's Leatherface, Psycho's Norman Bates, and The Silence of the Lambs' Buffalo Bill are just a few fictional serial murderers whose creations were affected by the real-life case of this man. GEIN's automobile, which he had used to transport his victims' remains, was sold to Carnival Sideshow owner Bunny Gibbons for $760 in 1958, or $5,718 when adjusted for inflation. Later, Gibbons charged Carnival visitors $25 to view it. GEIN passed away in Goodland Hall at the Mendota Mental Health Institute on July 26, 1984, from cancer-related respiratory and cardiac failure. Over the years, his gravesite at the Plainfield Cemetery has been repeatedly vandalized. Before the most of it was stolen in 2000, souvenir hunters chipped off sections of his gravestone. The gravestone was found in June 2001 close to Seattle, and it is presently in a Waushara County museum. Thank you for watching. If you want more killer stories, don't forget to subscribe and like the video.